Welcome everybody to this broadcast of the Dynasty Racing League Cup Series on DRL TV. My name is Ryan Branch alongside Martin Wenzel for the Phoenix 256. I apologize greatly for the early technical issues that we had. For whatever reason, I could not bring you guys the game itself. It wasn't showing up. The simulator wasn't showing up. So a quick caution to come out here at the very beginning of this race. Martin, if you can shed a little light on exactly who's involved there, that would be awesome since we missed it.
Yeah, it was Dustin Musel running 11th. He was right behind Chris Lucky and then right in front of Richard Lucky. He, coming out of turn 4, just got loose. Gave Richard Lucky a little bit of left side damage going into lap 7, and that's when the yellow flag came out. I'm going to go down. I'm going to look in. Maybe we can look at Richard Lucky. Yeah, he's got a little bit of... His hood's a little crinkled from getting basically door slammed on the left side as Musel was trying to correct it. But Musel's the only car with significant damage. Hit that inside wall head on.
Dustin Musel still on pit road. We're going to take the green flag with on lap 10 here out of 156, coming across to start lap 11. John Theodore is your leader. Everybody pitting there. Though it was a quick caution, everyone decides to come in and get tires. Why not? So they're fresh for the rest of the race.
Yeah, these guys are taking advantage of that dog leg.
Yeah, it is.
And that's where you're going to have trouble.
I was going to say the same thing. All these guys.
Wow. Yeah, Sean Hughes getting right up to the bumper of Theodore there. Yeah, broadcast looking good from my end. So I think we've gotten the technical difficulties under control for the moment.
For now. Looks a little choppy to me, but it is what it is at this point. I don't want to have to shut the whole thing down and miss another 10 laps, so.
Yeah, it looks alright. It's alright. It's not terrible.
We have some updates and stuff graphically. We got some, all the banners guaranteed to be on the cars every week now.
Yeah, should be.
Changes in iRacing. I think we got rookie stripes for the rookie drivers now. You see, who's that? Is that Sean Hughes in the 13? It's he passes for the lead.
Yep, he is a rookie.
There, you see the yellow markers in the back of his car. That does denote that he's a rookie in the DRL.
In the Cup Series. Yep.
Yeah, we made it rookie for the current series, not necessarily rookie to DRL, but if any of the guys moved up the series, etc., they will be denoted as a rookie for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I probably still have to go back and square that away and figure out which guys should actually be rookies. Probably Spencer Tart should probably be considered a rookie in the Cup Series because he came up from trucks after last season. That's probably what I'll do going forward. Yeah, Ooh, Sean Hughes almost got his front end, his nose in there under Theodore. I don't think Theodore would have been happy about if he got spun out there. Reminiscent of Atlanta.
Do you know who our pole sitter for this evening was, Mark?
Yeah, let me check. It was Anthony Burrows. So it was Burrows, Hughes, and Theodore were your top 3. Then Presnall and Chris Lucky qualified 5th. He's now back in 19th, though.
So Theodore quickly up to the lead after starting in the 3rd position. Sean Hughes sits 2nd. Chad Presnall in the 55 is 3rd right now. Eli Hinton in that 23 car there on the outside, but he's 4th. And Anthony Burrows back into the 5th spot. So Burrows unable to get that win 2 weeks ago. He did come out last week and capture his first victory of the season. He gets the pole here tonight, but he's quickly shuffled back to the 5th spot.
We got 156 laps here, 256 kilometers. That's where we get the race name.
Yeah, so everybody knows we didn't make an error. It's just kind of a weird coincidence that it was 156 laps and 256 kilometers. So.
Yeah, I thought that was strange too when I figured it out. I was like, well, that's weird. It's just 100 more. Because the track is about, I think it's just a little bit over a mile long, I think.
62 of Burrows way down there to that inside wall in the dog leg. So taking advantage of all that space that they're given.
Now I got door slammed coming into this turn. I was way up on the outside wall, and the guy who was going on my inside for some reason decided to slam into me. And I'm like, hey, I gave you the inside. Why'd you have to, you know, wreck my front end so late in the race?
Jake Helt telling me that my mic might be a little bit low. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know if I can turn it up just a hair for you guys. Hopefully everything else, everybody can.
Hey, sound good on my end, but I don't know what the broadcast. I don't have the sound up on the broadcast.
Right.
So we rely on you guys for that tech support out there. Let us know if things are too low.
We make changes on a weekly basis, you know what I mean? And then I have I've got the new Oculus Rift, so I have to make graphic changes in between racing myself and broadcasting. So.
Well, that's usually the issue that David Wellborn has on now broadcasting Tuesday nights. He's always been dealing with that with his Oculus. I think he's finally figured it out, where he doesn't have too many troubles.
Well, hopefully levels are okay at this point. Everybody can hear everything all right.
Yeah, John Theodore.
The microphone to go now, so.
John Theodore and Sean Hughes kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack. About 3/4 of a second ahead of Eli Hinton.
Yeah, those two kind of running away with it right now, but Eli Hinton, Chad Bresnall, Joseph Held, Anthony Burrows, and Thomas Harmon all there kind of bunched up together, so they've got more behind them. Wade Hustad, Spencer Tart, Hunter Johnson in the 48. So even though these guys are single file, everyone is pretty staying on top of each other, running very similar lap times. Joseph Held looking to make a move around the 62 there of Anthony Burrows. These guys single filed out very quickly and pretty much staying that way. Nobody trying to make any serious moves on one another at the moment. Running motor is pretty much what it was when we came to that restart on lap 10. So 15 laps later, all these guys pretty much running in the same position. Got John Theodore in first, Sean Hughes second. Eli Hinton runs third there, maybe being passed by Chad Bresnall in the 55. Fifth is Anthony Burrows, sixth Joseph Helt, seventh Thomas Harmon, eighth Wade Hustad, ninth Spencer Tart, 10th back here with the 48 is Hunter Johnson in that Lowe's car. We got Christopher Bope in the number 7, he runs 11th. Kevin Varnador 12th. Mike Springer runs in the 13th position. Chris James 14th. Josh Patterson 15th. We got Tommy Bordeaux, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Chris Lucky, Jim Westerfield, and Richard Lucky. 15th through 20th. 16th through 20th, I'm sorry. And then the last three guys on the track, John Mullins out there in the 64 car, Alexander Russell in the 44, and Dustin Musial, who was involved in that very first incident, has been down pit road for quite some time, so needing quite a bit of repairs on the car. Smaller field tonight than usual, Martin, huh? Than what we've seen at least so far this season.
23 guys. Yeah. Trying to think off the top of my head who I could think of who are no-shows. Eric Wolf, but Eric Wolf and Tommy Bordeaux, they just went down pit road at the beginning of Las Vegas last week and didn't really race at all.
It looks like Bordeaux actually out here trying to race the something there in that 57 car. No show for Eric Wolf. Pull up the point standings here. Maybe we can look through and see who might be racing. Chris James is in the race. That's the 82 car. He's in 4th. You know, Wade Hustad's out there, our points leader currently with 148. Anthony Burrows, Joseph Helt's out there, Chris Lucky, Mike Springer, Jim Westerfield, Thomas Harmon, Alexander Russell, Nathan Jurgensen in that 31 car is not out there tonight. So
yeah,
Logan McCannley in the Number 88, he's not out there. Richard Lucky, he is. Christopher Pope's there. Spencer Tart, Hunter Johnson. Steve Turner missing, I think, tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So a few guys in that top 20 in points missing a race here. But not going to be the end of the world. It is a 32-race season, so plenty of time for these guys to catch up. If you do win a race, you only have to attend 80% of the races in order to find your way in the playoffs anyway, so a lot of those guys shoot for that 80% participation mark. Some guys, though, if you want to get in on points and you don't want to do it with a win, you know, if you're not going to win a race all season and you're going to try to get in on points, I think you need to be closer to that 85 to 90% mark to do that, unless you're just a very, very consistent top 5 guy who never gets a victory, but we don't see that very often. So.
Well, that gap has shrunk between Theodore, Hughes, and now Presnell. Presnell gaining, along with Anthony Burrows.
Yeah, both of them catching up, and it seems to be maybe it's John Theodore holding everything up as the 13 of Hughes right to the back of his bumper. It looks like he's just unable to get around him. The passing's not the easiest, but as the tires continue to wear here, we're going to see guys try to make a pass like the 13's doing now.
Yeah, this is where you have to do it. You have to do it in the turns, and
you do, and you need to do it on the inside because that outside wall will sneak up on you quick, and that's what you got to do. You got to stick your nose in there in the bottom. You got to make that guy on the outside get real afraid of that wall on exit, and if you make them scared just enough, they'll let off the gas and you'll get the pass. The bad news in that case is guys like the 55 here, Presnell, who's falling right behind John Theodore. If he is to let off late in the corner,
3 wide.
Cause a wreck. And there it is.
3 wide, had his nose in there.
Yeah, Chad Presnell, forces the issue. Like I said, he got to the inside of the 27, made him real nervous, and he did have to let off a little bit coming out of that corner. So Chad Presnell making things happen as he looks to try to take the lead from Sean Hughes here. Joseph Help moving to the inside of Eli Hinton in the 23 car. So, then those two getting very close to one another on entry.
Yeah, that inside car, if he doesn't get slowed up enough going into the turn, he's going to coast right into that outside guy, because that outside guy is going to pick his line. The inside guy's got to stick to that. He's got to stick that line.
Yeah, I guess the way I described it, it sounds
itself.
like a cakewalk for the inside guy, but it definitely
is not.
You do not want to be that guy who ruins somebody's race by dive bombing them. So.
And that's why you saw that. You kept seeing Sean Hughes kind of sticking his nose out for the longest time. He kept sticking his nose out on the stretch, especially on the front stretch across the start-finish line. He'd stick his nose out, think about it, and then he'd be like, well, I can't get in there without just gunning it, and then obviously sliding right up and taking Theodore out. And so he would tuck right back behind the 27 and wait for another opportunity.
Presnell said, I'm not waiting any longer. Get out of the way, guys.
Yeah, he really forced the issue there. He said, I'm going to get right in between you guys.
Now you got the 62 there. Burrows.
Someone's got to back out.
He, again, using that entire apron in the dog leg there, gets down to the inside of the 27. It looks like he's going to make the pass on Theodore as well. So Theodore falling back after running first for the last 20 laps or so. He had now been green for 30 laps, so these guys have some wear on the tires. It is only a mile track. I know Phoenix looks a little bigger on paper than it actually is, but it is a 1 mile track. Big triangle. Actually, Phoenix isn't quite, not like, I don't know, I guess it kind of looks like one with the dog leg the way it is, but.
Almost does. I mean, it could be a little.
Not like a Pocono looking triangle.
No, not a Pocono triangle, but yeah, it's got that little, definitely a strange shape. Not the most common shape in NASCAR.
I guess it's considered a triangle, right? But
yeah.
Just a weird one.
I think, didn't they move I feel like they moved the start-finish line in real life to that dogleg area now, right?
I don't know.
I think that's what they did. I think they moved it to the dogleg now. So it's actually, you know, kind of like where, you know, a typical tri-oval at like Atlanta or Vegas, where your start-finish line's right there.
Well, I wish I knew more and looked up the history of the raceway, because it is, I mean, it used to just be called, I believe, Phoenix Motor Speedway, and now it is ISM Raceway, so obviously getting a new owner and decided to change the name of the place, but NASCAR keeping it on the schedule. It is a very fun and different racetrack than a lot of the ones that we race here.
We haven't updated it yet. I guess they haven't updated it yet to that point in iRacing, but I might be wrong.
Well, Presnell easy to make the pass on Theodore, but unable to get to the back of Sean Hughes as he continues to pull away from the 55. Anthony Burroughs trying to close in on them. John Theodore falling a little back now. And then you're still about another second behind Theodore until you get to the 23 here of Eli Hinton. There, Thomas Harmon, you see in that 68. Little Avril Lavigne car trying to make the pass on him.
Yeah, they moved the start-finish line between turn 1 and the dog leg. So the start-finish line in real life would be right about here now, just as you start entering the dog leg, I think.
Right. Definitely a little different.
Thus necessitating a whole renumbering of all the turns. But we're on this configuration, so our leaders are coming out of turn 4, going across the start-finish line now.
Yeah, what would you consider, you know, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 in that scenario? I guess it would make turn 1 actually turn 4 now, right?
Yeah, turn 1 would be turn 3 or turn 4, yeah.
What I heard, fairly exciting race in NASCAR yesterday at ISM, so see what these guys have for us tonight. This is one of the cleaner races thus far in the DRL this season.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised by that. Now, granted, I did the NIS, and the NIS again was pretty clean. I remember last year, I think was the first, like when they had just updated Phoenix to ISM, and so a little bit. I think the track configuration changed just a little bit. And it was a mess last year, and this year, yeah, it's way cleaner. And even our Cup race here is cleaner. We thought Vegas was going to be the clean one. We thought Daytona is going to be Daytona, Atlanta is going to be slick, and there's going to be a lot of stuff. And we thought Vegas was going to be the the clean one, and then Vegas week was kind of a little bit sloppy last week in DRL.
Well, then we didn't even have the new car update last week, so these guys are driving a brand new vehicle this week. They did have all week to practice it, but it was only, I don't know, the A-Class didn't get to practice it, just like everybody else, so it was only open setups. The only fixed setup practice these guys got is if they were available at the times to run the NIS race, which are four very specific races every week that are half length, just like our race is here this evening. So, the 7 car of Chris Pope sliding down into that dog leg. So Chris Pope almost losing the back end of the car as these guys now have 40 laps on the tires.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
getting rough out there.
Lost that back end.
It's a brand new setup that these guys are running. You see the wing on the back of the cars here. I believe they actually have more horsepower, but they also have a lot more downforce. So
yeah, they added that little clear. That was now. It just dawned on me why they put that. Why it's a clear area there, because you can still see out your mirror. I was thinking, it's like, why they put a little, why they add this little clear section to the splitter? It's like,
they wanted to add something to the splitter, but if you put it any higher and made it completely opaque, then you wouldn't even be able to see. Well, not just.
I think they also
see behind you.
They also added a little, things on the left side there, on the left rear. Little glass things as well, or clear plastic as well. Kind of side splitter or something. I don't know what that would be what it's called, or side spoiler.
talking about?
And it's on the left rear. Yeah. Runs down basically the left rear, or the rear window on the left side.
Oh,
so I don't know if that's new.
Yeah, it is. A little added spoiler
So I
on
don't
the
know
left-hand side, just for, I assume, turning left is what that's there for. Again, added downforce, but it's crazy, you know, how down to a science the drag coefficients and stuff in these cars are. It's absolutely crazy. As you can see there with that clear thing added to the thing in the back, it is, I mean, you can see right through it. So it doesn't impede vision for anybody. It's not only for the guy that's in the car looking out his rearview mirror, but also the guys that are right behind him trying to see where they're going. At tracks like Talladega, Daytona, and any of the other ones where we see that real close drafting going on.
Sean Hughes all alone right now. He's got Presnell and Burrows.
He's only got him by about half a second, a little over half a second, two-thirds of a second. So.
Yeah, he just gained a tenth there, or a little bit under a tenth, but
that's the same thing. I talked about it last week. When you have somebody running right next to you, you can kind of gauge how fast you're going versus how hard you need to push the car. And when there's not anybody right on you, it's difficult to know, hey, should I be pushing the car harder than this? Should it be harder to handle than it is out of these corners, you know?
Yeah, so that lap he kind of eased up a little bit.
You guys see the
lost a little bit of time.
At the top of the screen, back to 15th. You're looking at 10 seconds off the leaders in the 15th position. So big gap by all of these guys. It only takes about 27 seconds, 27 and a half seconds to make it around Phoenix in these Cup cars. So they have a third of the track already on the
I think Eli Hinton is coming down pit road. So is John Theodore. So those are our first two cars.
Looks like we're going to
go for a green flag stop.
Stops. So I don't expect the truck race to be this green. The trucks, you know, again, there was no fixed ones this week. All there was running was the opens, but it was interesting to say the least. A lot of wrecks early. Those cars feel really good, and you can be in the throttle for a majority of the race, but that just makes that turn 2 wall sneak up on you even quicker.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't run at all in the B car at Phoenix, so I did the NIS, and that's the A car. The B car is different. Well, we'll see.
Good luck, Martin. See you tomorrow night out there.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I got into the A car. I got into the NIS and I didn't feel anything different, so I figure it's like you just go out there.
2-2 down there on pit road, so those two guys getting on and off pit road fairly quickly. Theodore kind of known for having different pit strategies than some of the other drivers. He's tried it a few times here and there, sometimes to no avail. Chad Presnell, we know, the very unfortunate, or on the very unfortunate side of pit strategy. What was that? Was that last week at Vegas? And we were ended, I think, 3 or 4 laps early by a caution flag when the leaders were maybe going to run out of fuel. So leaders were letting off. Presnell was closing the gap quickly, and then we had the race ended a little early.
Yeah, last week was an interesting one towards the end with pit strategy. You had a few guys going in, and it was... I was surprised. I'll tell you, I was surprised that whole race that it came down to there were some fuel issues. I didn't think there would have been, but...
That was, I think that was Salvatore Di Gennaro there at the end of the race last week. He ended up getting into that outside wall and coming down into another car, bringing out that last caution. Just kind of destroyed what Presnell had going for him. I don't know if he would have been able to catch the leaders. Definitely not if they didn't run out of fuel, but he still would have gained a couple more spots from what he had already gotten back after pitting. So, yeah,
that's pit strategy to, you know, that's all it is. It comes down to what you think's going to happen, and you're planning for it to be green. You're making your plans under a green flag assumption. A yellow flag comes out, it completely throws that whole thing out, because everyone's going to come down and get fresh tires or gas, and you're all on the same page. Or at the end of the race, it just ends under yellow, and you can't gain any more positions.
Well, now Chad Presnell right to the back of the 13 of Hughes again. I do not expect to see him attempt to pass at this point. I mean, how old these tires are. You'd almost say
Yeah,
it would be a bad idea unless somebody in front of you makes a major mistake to try to make a pass at this point.
Yeah, Sean Hughes would have to be giving him that spot, and that could happen. I mean, Sean could go up to a higher line and leave that inside line open, but Presnell can't really just slam his car in there and stick it down on that line with any speed.
These guys approach the back of the 44 car here shortly. That is Alexander Russell out there in the 44, and Chad Presnell slides the car down there onto the dogleg, so that's going to take him out of contention up towards the front. Go one on fresh tires coming around the 55 on the outside. That's one thing you don't get to see too often is a pass on the outside at ISM. Now it's Sean Hughes, and then Anthony Burrows, and then Chad Presnell on the 55 drops back into the third spot. And it looks like these guys are going to attempt to make the pass here on the 44. So that's one thing I could see happening is the 13 getting caught up behind that 44, who
right there
smashes the wall right in front of him.
Yeah, 44 caught the wall.
That's going to cause damage to the 13. It's Sean Hughes, who now gets into the 55 with Chad Presnell, and those two
There's going to be a yellow flag.
That's the leaders. The yellow flag's going to fly, and Sean Hughes cannot be too happy about that.
That was just a mess all around. That started with the 44 catching the wall. Sean Hughes was slowed up. Burrows gets into the lead, and then Burrows actually got a little damage there too because he hit the rear end of Sean Hughes. Hughes starts coming down. He sees Chad Presnell going to the inner line. Presnell's got more speed. He tries to get out of the way. Presnell overcorrects himself, and they both spin out, hit the wall. So your top three guys all involved in that sequence.
As you see here, Sean Hughes down to the inside. The 44 is going to come up and make contact with that outside wall. As he got into the gas, Sean Hughes crinkling up the front end hard. Anthony Burrows somehow completely avoids it, but now you see Chad Presnell on the 55.
I'm not going to say Burrows completely avoided that, though. He got a little bit of damage because you see...
I don't think Burrows got anything.
Maybe he didn't get damage, but he did give Sean Hughes rear end some damage, so...
Well, see,
I guess that was netcode.
Yeah, it didn't give on my screen, it looks like netcode because he didn't actually...
Well, it was definitely netcode. Yeah, they didn't touch, but he definitely got... Now, if you look at Anthony Burrows' front end, he's got some crinkle up on that right side where I'm assuming that's from him making netcode contact with Sean Hughes there.
And what happens here with the 55, the 55 kind of just turns the car too hard left as the 13 just came into the corner to run his normal line, and he was clearly much slower than Chad Presnell.
Yeah, much slower, and Presnell just didn't.
Was going to try to go to the inside, and he just jerked the wheel, and that just caused him to spin out almost instantly. So,
yeah, that's wow.
I don't know. I get that secondary wreck. I guess I would put on the 55, but at the same time, the 13 was slowed up. He just maybe didn't know how slow he was.
Yeah, I think that's all. It all just starts. Like, I don't know how race control will handle those penalty points that come out for guys, but definitely Alexander Russell is going to have a part of that.
Chad Presnell, who was attempted to not be involved in that at all, again, jerks the wheel a little too hard. He's now been down pit road for 40 seconds. Sean Hughes, 35 seconds already on pit road. He received quite a bit to the front end of the car. I would not be surprised if he spends a few minutes down.
Yeah, Presnell got the worst of that.
42.78 seconds.
They both come out.
Yeah, so they're just going to try to stay on this lead lap. Maybe come back down and collect a few more repairs and then get back out there and run. But, wow. What a mix-up for all the front guys. The only one coming away fairly scot-free there is the 62 of Anthony Burrows. What do you know?
Yeah, and even he has damage from that. So, yeah, it was man, you were just saying it that he was going to get caught at the 13. I mean, you had to worry about that 44, maybe getting caught him in something. Right? Just as it came out of your mouth, that's what happened. And
yeah, it's called the broadcaster curse, is what that's called, I guess.
Right. But
we got to the 27 of John Theodore having to stay out here just to get his lap back, so that's very unfortunate. 7 is now going to be taking the green flag with about 12 lap-old tires while everybody else is on fresh ones. Not what he wanted, not what he had planned, but again, tries the pit strategy. Sometimes it pays off, other times it doesn't, so. He's not the only one going to have to fight for some positions. As Sean Hughes comes down pit road again, see how long he spends down there this time. Again, just trying to get those repairs and keep the car in the lead lap as much as possible. I don't expect to see him down there for long. Actually, it's showing 0 seconds on the pit box, so I don't know. Oh, there it goes. It started up now. These guys are too wide, so maybe he comes out and just tries to stay right in front of the pack, or he's going to now try to be the lucky dog moving forward. To get off pit road, yeah,
yep.
11.1
coming out right
seconds.
now.
He's getting out quick.
I think he'll be right in front of. He'll start in front of John Theodore.
Really going to start in front of this field, so he will not be able to catch the rear of the field before they take the flag here. All up to Anthony Burrows.
Well, they have a long. You have that long inside line.
Yeah, it's still he's not to the back of the 27 there for John Theodore, so. Actually, is he? He's in front of him. Is he able to get back up there?
Yeah, I think they got to the tail end there. That was just a very long inside line so far from the rest of the guys.
There.
I think that inside line was twice as long as the inside or the outside.
How much that damage is actually going to cost him. See him running back here towards the rear.
Well, he makes quick work of John Theodore. Gets on the inside and easily passes John Theodore. So.
Taylor Butch Benjamin and that number 8 machine. He's back down pit road. So he's going to go a lap down. Not sure what happened to Butch Benjamin there, but he was on the lead lap.
Yeah, not sure at all. He's got, doesn't look like he has any damage or anything, so maybe he had a penalty, I don't know.
Guys, I'm not going to go to a commercial, but I am going to play some music here for a minute as take a quick break. Back with more green flag action in just a moment. car back. Green flag racing at ISM. 82 laps in out of 156. We're over halfway home. And your leader, Anthony Burrows, in the 62. He runs out front by about a second over Wade Hustad in the 32. Just behind him, you got Thomas Harmon in that 68 machine. The 12, Mike Springer in 4th, and Joseph Helt runs 5th. Martin, you back?
Yes, I am.
I'll tell you what, buddy. Mississippi pot roast. If you never had it, look it up. It's good stuff. That goes for all the viewers, too. Mike Springer in that 12 car. We talk about him a lot, but I don't think he's ever won a race here, has he, Martin?
DRL, not yet. I don't think he's. Yeah, I don't think he has any.
He typically tends to favor that outside line on a lot of tracks where he would normally favor an inside line. Definitely a different driver, but he always finds himself inside the top 10, top 5. He's able to come away with that victory. And then that beautiful Funyuns car. He's a big fan of the bright oranges and yellows, huh? He used to run that Reese's car.
Yeah, he had the Reese's car. He had that what is it, General Mills? Had all those like Lucky Charms and Honey Nut Cheerios and all that on there. That one made me hungry. I was like, oh, I want some Lucky Charms.
And then Hunter Johnson, we saw him back in 10th earlier. He's up to the 6th position. Let's see where he started this evening. He started 19th, so 19th all the way to 6th. Good showing for the 48.
I know another guy who's not out there, Eric Hutton, in the 78 in that Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that beautiful Chick-fil-A car. Good looking paint job on that one. Chris Pope in the 7, runs in the 7th. 8th is Spencer Tart in that Pop-Tarts car.
I love Tommy Bordeaux's paint scheme now. He had last couple weeks he's had his name on there and everything, but now if you look at his car, it says your name here, sponsors welcome, all that stuff.
There you go. Look who's up in 10th, Martin. 55 at Fresno, working his way through the field fairly quickly. John,
I'm surprised.
Also involved in that earlier. He still sits back in the 15th spot. Again, I think he took a lot of front end damage.
I thought Fresno took a lot of damage there too. He hit the wall pretty hard, and his front end is just mangled. And I'm also looking at that front end. I don't know if I'm just seeing a different damage model or something. It looks pretty good. It's a little bit better than iRacing. Just keeps improving that damage model.
Trying to. It still feels like when you take some front end damage, sometimes you think it's minor and it's like 7 minutes of repairs. Yeah, and then you pull out, and 3 laps later your motor blows. And then other times you feel like you should have massive damage and you pull in and it says 42 seconds of optional. And you're like, what? What's going on? Thought I clobbered my motor right there, so. They continue to try to improve it. Did have another update today, so they're fixing things on a daily basis. Trying to make it as good as possible.
Yeah, and last week we had not in the Cup race because the Cup race was right before the update came out, but we had a little bit of graphical issues where they've changed the windshield banner situation because NASCAR wants to have their logos on the cars in the official series. So with Monster was kind of baked in and would be overlapping ours, so we had to kind of do a different graphic solution for that. The B cars now have a banner that looks similar to what they have in real life in the Xfinity series, where they got their last name on the front. And we can't override that, so we had to kind of change our banners up a little bit, and we'll see tomorrow during the broadcast, you'll see the guys, their last name also on the front of their cars. Giving the drivers some love.
Yeah, hey, you got to know who's out there running. I think everybody fairly familiar with these Cup guys now. We still have some fairly new faces, but Sean Hughes, Jim Westerfield, Kevin Varnador, Josh Patterson, and the Lucky guys. They're brothers, correct? I believe Chris Lucky and Richard Lucky. So Other than that,
I'd assume,
most of these guys returning drivers from last year.
I think actually Jim Westerfield. Jim Westerfield's a returning guy.
Is he?
I know I have him
late
as a
in the
rookie on his
season.
car for some reason.
But
Yeah, he was
inside this top 10. You got Anthony Burrows, Thomas Harmon, Wade Hustad, Mike Springer, Joseph Helt, Hunter Johnson, Christopher Pope. All of those guys, DRL regulars, have been around for, if not already a year, some close to 2, and such as Anthony Burrows, but right at a year for most of them anyway. So this being their second full or partial season in this Cup Series. So Thomas Harmon now 1.1 seconds back from Anthony Burrows, not falling off too hard. Back from them, you have Wade Hustad, who sits 3 seconds behind your leader. And Mike Springer still in that number 12 machine. He sits 4th, and Joseph Helt in the 02 comes in 5th. Helt a member of S2R. Those guys have 2 gentlemen, well 3 I guess, if Wade Hustad's running for them. I don't know if he runs for them now, if he's official member, if he just runs with them, but yeah, I mean, you got Thomas Harmon, Wade Hustad, and Joseph Helt all inside the top 5.
And then out there we got, I'm just looking in the Discord chat to see where some guys are lumped together. Obviously you got DPR out there as well, Dysfunctional Patriots Racing. Chris James, Chris Pope, John Mullins, Mike Springer, Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Yeah, so you got a few of them inside the top 10 as well. So you have Christopher Pope there runs in the 7th spot. Mike Springer obviously running in 4th, sandwiched between a couple of the S2R guys. So.
And then only Originals Racing team. That's Sean Hughes and now Sam Niederhelm. Now Sam Niederhelm's not out there in the car either. Well, actually I think he went down. He's now down in the Grand National Series. Sam Niederhelm last year was up in the Cup Series.
Yeah, so he's probably.
So he must be spotting for Sean Hughes.
Yep.
So Sean Hughes, a 1-car team up here in the Cup at least today. Only Originals Racing.
Well, Hughes was able to get around the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux, so he runs 14th now. Chad Presnall still your big mover after that accident. He runs in 10th. And here you got Hunter Johnson on the outside of the 7 of Christopher Pope. So Pope really trying to take that position, and it looks like he's going to be able to do it. So again, that's where you make your passes. You do it on that inside line. Hopefully the 48 doesn't try to cross him over. But the thing,
he's right on his bumper.
Yeah, the 48 doesn't want to let a train go around him. So now that he's stuck on the outside line, he gives easy access to the 28 here. Spencer Tart to also take the inside line. So that's the bad part, for the guy in front. You really don't want to give that position up once, because now you open up that whole inside line for the next X number of laps, and people are just going to continue to go around you. So, oh, and as you see it there, the 48 bounces off the wall. Takes some damage to the right front of the car. He will now, I would assume, give up the position of the 28. Just let him head on by, but now he's got to worry about the 2 cars. Yeah, there's more cars lurking just behind. So again, give it up to one guy, and you kind of have to give it to 3 or 4 others, which puts you in a tough spot.
He's got
to
tuck down there.
John Theodore coming down pit road, and John Mullins. So looks like some of these guys going with maybe, hey, if we pit now, this could be the last pit of the race. Let's do it early. Let's get back out on the fresh tires and give it a go. I'm surprised Theodore's trying this for a 2nd time tonight after it not working out earlier in the race.
Didn't Hughes? I feel like Hughes and John Theodore went down together the first time, right? No, that was I think Eli Hinton.
Yeah. No, it was definitely not Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes was in. Yeah, Hughes was in the lead. Yeah, he hadn't gone down yet.
Then you got Jim Westerfield down there as well. John Hughes with the 14.15, so not getting any damage fixed. The 13 must be all repaired. He's going to run about as fast as he possibly can right now. But there is only 35 laps on the tires, so this guy is taking a very early pit stop. Tommy Bordeaux now coming down to take his pit. Maybe banking on this thing going green for the rest of the time and being able to capitalize towards the closing laps of the race. As soon as they knew they were good on fuel, I guess, maybe. Back up to the front, you still have Anthony Burrows running out there in the lead. The 62 car now has a 2.2 second gap on the 68 of Thomas Harmon. So Burrows running away with this race right now. Back to Wade Hustad, 4.8 seconds back of the leader, and then Mike Springer with about another 3/4 of a second over him. So these top 5 even are more than 5 seconds apart from one another, which is just crazy to me. One guy can be that much better at a track like this, but again, Anthony Burrows out there with no damage, nobody in front of him to try to dictate what line he runs, and he's taking advantage of it. We'll see what happens as he runs about 10 seconds back of the rear of this field and starts to approach some lap traffic. See up there just in front of him, I believe, is the 44 again. I don't know, Martin.
Yeah, who's got sweatier palms at this point? Alexander Russell or Anthony Burrows? Because I'll tell you, Russell came over the radio. He felt terrible about that, and believe me, if you're that guy, you do feel terrible about that.
He makes contact with that wall coming out of the corner just now. So
yeah, there's no driver wants to be that guy who's, you know, a lapped car or is going to be lapped, catches the wall and takes out, gives damage to the top 3 guys.
Tell you what, if I was the 44 right now, I'd go high and I'd
slow
down
go
to about 30 miles an hour. No, he's not. Oh, okay. He almost contacts the wall again there. The 44 getting out of the way easily of the 62 of Burrows. Spencer Tartt in the 28 is going to come down pit road, so he's also taking an early pit stop here. I mean, we're about 5 laps away from what I would assume most guys are going to come down and pit, because that will split this last run in half. They've been out there for 41 laps right now, and we are 109 in out of 156, leaving only about 46 laps to go. So anytime in the next 5 laps, 10 laps is when that pit window's open. Typically, you would take it early if you expect no caution flag. You want to take it later if you expect the caution to fly. So see what some of these guys choose to do.
Yeah, and the way this race is going, it's a kind of a toss-up, because we've had 2 cautions. One was a self-spin from Dustin Musial early in the race, lap I believe 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in there. And then obviously you had the one with Alexander Russell and catching the wall and taking out Sean Hughes, Chad Presnell, and Anthony Burrows.
Mike Springer and Joseph Helt have been on each other's bumpers for 15 laps. I mean, it's literally a one on top of the other for 15 laps straight. Mike Springer's moved up from 15th all the way to 4th, and Joseph Helt from 7th to 5th. So both of those guys.
I think it might have been longer than that. I think it might have been longer than 15 laps, because I remember I was watching the Focus on Crash camera, and it was just focused on those 2 guys for, ever. And then we started talking about the Funyuns and Lucky Charms, and that was
they've been all over each other.
Laps ago. And Joseph Helt's always been in his right on his rear.
And then you got Christopher Pope there in that 7 car. He's starting the 23rd position tonight, so he looks like he's the big mover of the evening so far.
Oh yeah, he moved early too. I mean, he was, I think at that first caution he was already up in 13th, so he moved quick. And look at the qualifying times. Well, he started right at the end of the field because he wasn't able to actually put down a qualifying time. Maybe made contact with the wall. I don't think he had to serve a penalty or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I really think that Pope is definitely the.
Oh yeah, he's doing well tonight.
For sure. Very impressive for him to get out here. Joseph Helt finally looks like he's going to try to make the move.
Yeah, taking the outside. And Pope's gonna.
Pope's gonna hop on board and say, "Thank you. I'll take one of those."
Yeah, so it's not impossible.
As well.
It's not impossible to pass on the outside. You just have to pinch that guy down on the inside, and you have to hope that he lets off the gas and says, "Okay, I have to concede this, otherwise I'm going to take you out."
Yeah,
and that guy might say, "Nope, I'm going to take it, and I'll wreck you."
It's all about making him as uncomfortable as possible, while also not making yourself too uncomfortable. both the 02 and the 7 make it happen easily there. That makes me, I mean, this is making me wonder if something happened to Springer's car or Springer himself, as he is now just conceding spot after spot. I know the 13's on fresher tires, so he's going to get the easy pass, but now you got another car around him. Who's that just in front of him? The 4 car of Jim Westerfield gets the easy pass.
Yeah, well, Westerfield pit, so he's got the fresh tires. Well. Chad Presnall, though.
Yeah, now you've got the Presnall on the 55 trying to come around.
With that heavy front end damage, too. I mean, him and Sean Hughes. Sean Hughes is down a lap, but Sean Hughes came in with John Theodore, Jim Westerfield. All those guys have pit.
Chris
and Presnall, easy pass.
Chris Pope and Joseph Helt all over one another. Chris Pope is going to get the pass on the 02, so I don't know, man. Chris Pope is out there running right now. Starting in the 23rd position, he's got 49 laps on the tires, and he's passing somebody like Joe Helt. I mean, you got to hand it to Chris Pope. He's running the race of a lifetime so far this evening.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here with the 4. The 4's got fresh tires. Let him go. There you go.
And I talked about earlier that 2-second gap that Burrows put on Harmon. It stayed the same, so less than 2.5 seconds that Burrows has over Harmon. Those guys have pretty much been the same distance from one another for the last 15, 20 laps. Harmon not letting him run away with it. One little mistake from Anthony Burrows on pit road, and Harmon will make up all of that time, but vice versa applies as well to Harmon, Wade Hustad, Joseph Helt. Those guys coming down to pit now. See how quickly they can get in and out of the box. So guys, the timers on the left-hand side of the screen, all you see is from the time that they stop in the pit lane until the time that they pull away in the pit lane. So not necessarily accurate, does not denote how well necessarily their pit stop was, but it does denote how well the pit crew guys did while they were in there. So
yeah, that's the moment. Yeah, that clock just goes as soon as they start working on the car, right?
Yep. Yeah, and the work on the car, it varies, believe it or not. It's all random. It's tried to, you know, it's out there to kind of make it, just to add a little bit of randomness to the race, kind of make it feel more like real life. Some, you know, some teams are going to have better pit crews, and then some pit crews are going to perform on one day better than they are, you know, on another day. So
yeah, it is always interesting. You hear a guy, you know, you'll go into the pits, you'll get your 4 tires and some fuel, and it'll be a 12-second stop, and then another time you'll do the same exact pit stop, 15 seconds.
Stop. Yeah. So, well, you got Chris Pope out here in the number 7 car, is going to get himself a lead lap, so that's a bonus point for Mr. Pope. Exactly what he was planning, but
and Eli Hinton gets right up into the rear of Anthony Burrows.
And then you got Tommy Bordeaux there on the outside, Chad Presnall, Chris
James,
of
traffic there,
and Chris Lucky, the only one still on that 53-lap old tires. And then you got Sean Hughes in the number 13. He's got 20 laps on the tires already, so
yeah,
I don't know if these guys are planning another pit stop or if they're just going to try to run it out to 50 laps.
Maybe they're banking on that yellow flag. That might be again Chris Pope. I mean, he's still staying out there. I think he's going to go as long as he can go.
Those guys
he's banking on a yellow flag.
That's actually a really decent strategy if you expect that late race, you know, caution flag to fly. But Chris Pope is still currently your leader with the 55 laps on the tires. Very hard out here to even tell who's running where and how old their tires are, but it is Chris Pope there in the 7. You got about a second back to the 55 of Presnall still on those older tires, and then Chris James in the 82 and Chris Lucky in that number 77 machine. Those guys with quite the gap, 9 and 11 seconds back of where Chad Presnall is. So Presnall and Pope are still the only 2 even considered in the running right now with those guys in the top 10. See, how well Chris Pope was doing out there on the old tires, I think he's kind of shooting himself in the foot staying out as long as he is here. Really don't think that it was necessary for him to stay out this long. And I don't believe that he can make it on fuel to the end of this race, right? So he has to pit at some point. That time should have been about 10 laps ago. There he is. Now he's going to come down pit road. So I feel like that was a couple laps overdue. We'll see where he comes out of it at the end. And now Chad Presnall on the 55 machine after the damage earlier. He's going to go out there and lead a couple laps. 1 or 2 at least. There of Hunter Johnson to the inside of Chad Bresnaugh. Hunter Johnson running 14th. Just puts himself back on the lead lap. After that pit cycle. Now Bresnaugh out here, maybe just staying out to get that extra bonus point for leading a lap, but I suspect to see him pull down pit road anytime.
Yeah, he's got to pit soon because... Yeah, he's got to pit soon because he's the same situation as Pope. There's no, maybe he's again thinking just like Pope was. I'll stay out a few more laps, hope a yellow flag comes out.
Yeah, I mean, he was moving, and he made up a lot of spots, but staying out there, I mean, you're just putting yourself in danger of losing way too many positions towards the end of the race as everybody will be on fresh tires for too long. Give yourself enough time to be on fresh tires towards the end.
Now, I believe Chris James and Chris Lucky have pit, right? Or are those guys also?
They're also on the tires.
All right, so our top 3, there goes Chris James into the pits now.
Yeah, so possible they were staying out to also try to collect the 1 lap lead, get that bonus point. I don't think Bresnaugh's wanting to give it up here to Chris Lucky, but...
Yeah, Chris Lucky's going to probably have to come in. I would come in this lap now because Burrows has passed him. He has no shot at leading a lap now, so might as well just come down.
Not to pit. Chad Bresnaugh again, now only a 10-second gap on the 62 of Anthony Burrows. That would include coming down into the pits, stopping, etc. No way he'll make a pit stop in 10 seconds. So, again, unless he plans to, I don't think he has the fuel to stay out and try to run this to the end. I don't know what the goal here is of the 55. But
I think the situation, yeah, and this is where you start going. Yeah, I think it's the same thing with Pope, is that at this point, going down the pits, you're conceding it. You might as well just stay out and hope that yellow flag comes out.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, well, now you're going to have to come down pit road anyway, and you're going to be down a lap. So
55, praying for a caution right now. Anthony Burrows gaining about 3 seconds in the last lap and a half. So he will be to Chad Bresnaugh's back bumper in no time. Jump back here to the 62 of Anthony Burrows. About a 6-second gap now. 6.5 seconds on Chad Bresnaugh in the 55, and then about 4 seconds back of him is Thomas Harmon in that number 3 position. So what we're potentially looking at is Burrows in first, Harmon in second, both with 13 laps on the tires, but Harmon about 4 seconds off the pace of Anthony Burrows here, and Anthony Burrows might be running away with another victory here, Martin. Getting through that wreck earlier with the 44 and the 13. Burrows definitely the major beneficiary in that one.
yeah, I'm wondering what the race would look like, how the complexion of this race would be different without that taking out Hinton and Bresnaugh.
Bresnaugh was quick. It wasn't Hinton, it was Sean Hughes in that 13 car, but Bresnaugh was quick, Hughes was fast. I think Burrows was kind of trying to conserve tires earlier in the race, and you know he's one of those guys who just seems to be there at the end. But it's
he'll sit there lurking in third.
Right, but running away with it by 4 seconds. I mean, we haven't seen that from Burrows in a while. We do have some stiff competition in the Dynasty Racing League Cup Series this year. There's tons of guys out here that can put down just as good a lap as Burrows any day of the week. So, yeah, I would have liked to have seen what that looked like at this point in the race, but caution flags do fly, and it happens to the best of us. That's part of racing.
Chris Lucky has still not come down pit road. I think he's going to pit Or he's going to let guys go. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, the 77 still running, and Presnell still in that 55 car, now only with a 2.8 second gap over Anthony Burrows. So he's saying, caution, 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 caution. He needs it. He's only got the 2-second lead. Burrows is cutting it by about a second every turn. And he will be coming by for the pass in the lead in no time. Spencer Tartan, the 28 machine. Oh, once again, that 44 car hitting the wall as Thomas Harmon tries to pull around in there in the 68. So 44, I don't know if it's just nerves or what, but he needs to stop looking in the rear view mirror and get nervous as some of these guys try to come around him.
Yeah, he's really, really slow. Earlier, Richard Lucky and him almost got into each other, and I thought Richard Lucky was a lead lap car or something. Lucky actually was down more laps than Russell. And Russell actually dipped into the apron and just get out of the way of everyone else. So I think he's just trying to lay down laps. Looks like his top speed's about 150. So he's got heavy front end damage. Must be affecting his motor. He's just fast enough to keep going.
Well, and Burrows does get the pass on Chad Presnell on that 55 machine. And Presnell's going to say, all right, well, I give it up. Time to come down and pit. He got the lead. No sense in me trying to stay out here any longer. I don't think there's anything that would make him more upset than if the caution flag flew now, because Presnell was so patient, just waiting for it. Doesn't work out for the 55 tonight. We have 16 left to go. Anthony Burrows, your leader, by about 4 seconds over Thomas Harmon in that 68 car. Wade Hustad runs third in the 32. Fourth right now, Joseph Helton, that 02 car, and Spencer Tartan, 28 machine. So, who was that was up near Joseph Helton earlier? I think he ended up staying out too long, and he kind of shot himself in the
Mike
foot.
Springer.
Yeah, well, no. Somebody, who was it? Somebody that was moving. Oh, Christopher Pope, all the way back in the 13th spot. So, again, I think Pope made a major error staying out there as late as he did. Now he runs back in 13th. He sits seconds behind John Theodore. Well, about a second behind John Theodore in the 27 car. And Chris Pope was up there running side by side with the likes of Joseph Helton, the 02. So,
but he'll have fresher tires than, I mean, John Theodore is going to have to go down again, or Theodore is going to be on
yeah, he'll
really
get an easy pass on John Theodore.
He'll be able to get up there. I think he'll be able to get back where he's not going to obviously get back into the lead with this amount of time, but
well, I guess you have a
point,
point, right?
Get back
because he's sitting at about 16 laps in the tires right now, and ahead of him you got John Theodore with 41.
And most of these guys have gone in a lot earlier.
Hunter Johnson and Mike Springer with 24 and 22, so that's not so bad. But ahead of them, Jim Westerfield 40 laps, Sean Hughes 41. Eli Hinton with 33 and Spencer Tartt with 36. So he does have some opportunity towards the end of the race to maybe get back to the bumper of that 02 car, as we now have 13 laps remaining. I don't know. He's going to have to continue to move and pray a caution flag doesn't fly, because it could hurt him. But
yeah, and Chris Lucky still out there on those old tires. And yeah, I think at this point he's really banking on a yellow just to stay on the lead lap at all, because he will definitely go down a lap, if not two at this point, when he pits.
Well, you know, he puts himself in sort of a compromised position too, where he just has to let cars go because his tires are so old.
Chris Pope got into the left rear quarter panel of Hunter Johnson. Johnson's able to save it down the front stretch across the start finish line. Pope is right on his bumper, almost pushing him.
Pope definitely wants that spot. He is on fresher tires by about 8 over Hunter Johnson in the 48. And again, just based off how he was running towards the end of that last run, we know he is a little bit quicker. He's able to get that position, and now he's got to reel in the forward Jim Westerfield. So I think, again, we need to watch and see what happens to Mr. Pope here, as he's going to continue to try to make up spots. The 44 is going to come around the 48 of Hunter Johnson. So 44 needs to make sure he doesn't cause any issues here as he tries to move around some of these guys.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Alexander Russell, yeah, he's got a lot of speed now. He's moving past people.
Yeah, he's only got 5 laps on the tires.
but he's only going 5 miles per hour faster.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't know. I
all
mean,
the damage
he was
on the car.
That's really
I don't
weird.
know if he'll be able to catch the back of Christopher Pope, and I almost.
No, I think Pope will pull away, but he really made it easy going past Hunter Johnson and Jim Westerfield. So it's kind of, I know those guys have really old tires, but the way Russell was limping around the track earlier, that surprises me.
I think him trying to pass the 7 here of Chris Pope would be a mistake. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's respectable, to be honest. Looks like that's exactly what he's going to try to do, though, as he heads way down close to that inside wall. Going to run side by side with the 7 here. So the 44 inevitably causing that first and only caution that we've had tonight.
Well, the second caution, the first caution, Dustin Musel, really early, right when we got into the broadcast.
Right.
But
that
yeah,
doesn't count. I wasn't here to see it.
Yeah, it didn't. It only affected, I think, it caught a little bit of Richard Lucky. But that, yeah, definitely the...
Oh, the 41 into the outside wall as Pope goes to the inside of him. And again, the 44
look how far
just running down there in dead space.
Yeah, so. Russell's just in the... as far off into the apron, just trying to keep going around the track, trying to stay out of the way as much as he can. But he keeps pushing the issue at the same time.
Yeah, he can't be fighting for spots here.
Yeah, Pope's going to easily get past Sean Hughes.
So now he's going to have to close in on Mike Springer in that 12 machine. About 6 lap fresher tires than Mike Springer. And then ahead of him, you have Eli Hinton with 40 lap old tires and Spencer Tart with 43 lap old tires. So I don't know, Chris Pope might have the opportunity to get back up there to Joseph Helt, like we said, but we only have 5 laps remaining tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone for tuning in to watch the race. I know we haven't really been watching the front very much, kind of watching Chris Pope try to move through the field here, but Anthony Burrows does have a 5-second lead over the 68 car of Thomas Harmon right now. Looks to be the lock as your winner unless he makes a major mental error. Thomas Harmon in the 68 car. Looks like he will be wrapping up second as well if he doesn't make an error himself. And then Wade Hustad in the 32 car almost looks as if he will grab third without issues as the O2 of Helt runs about 2 seconds back of him. So it's all about Chris Pope now. He's going to be our entertainment for this evening as he catches the back of that 12 machine and is going to try to make his move around Mike Springer in the Funyuns car, a bright yellow, beautiful Funyuns car he drives.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk to Pope after this race, even if he doesn't finish top 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's another thing, too. Wade Hustad does not have a mic this evening, so it would be futile to try to chat with him anyway.
We chat with him quite a bit. And I'm going to say, really, for Harmon and Hustad, kind of an uneventful race, despite being in second and third. Burrows actually had to go through a little bit of had a little bit of a scare there during in that caution with the 44. But Harmon and Hustad, we really haven't talked to them about them much this race. They just quietly rolled into second and third. We've mentioned Joseph Helt battling with Mike Springer earlier in the race. He's in 4th. And then Spencer Tart, he's been around there, running 5th. Eli Hinton in 6th with Chris Pope about a second behind him.
On the 44 there. Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
44.
Still racing with the 7 of Chris Pope here.
All over the 7, yeah. He's just got to, just let the 7 go.
Yeah, Chris is not going to have the opportunity to catch up to
Pope is not happy about that.
Spencer Tart, but
I think Pope just came over the radio and said, hey,
44 overstepping boundaries, especially being that guy that did cause a bit of a mess earlier in the race. There will probably
I wish we could pipe in the conversation between those two, but suffice to say, Pope
combo after the race with those guys.
Pope is not happy about that at all, and Russell said, it's like, hey, you're not going to gain any more spots. It's like, well, yeah, neither are you. You're 3-4 laps down.
Exactly.
Give up. Just stop. Stop trying to take out a guy who is running 7th.
Yeah, he's running
because
very,
that's all
very close to that 7 car for a long, long time. And obviously didn't have the speed to clear him easily, so why push the issue there?
So while the 7 might not gain any more spots, he could certainly lose some spots. Springer wasn't that far behind him.
Yeah, exactly. And the 44 had not much of a chance at all to lose spots. I mean, there's only 3 more spots.
Yeah, just slow down a little bit. Just ease off, let the 7, drive around and finish this race, and he does. The 7 finishes in the 7th. Chris Pope, that was didn't turn out the way he was planning on it, but we'll talk to him and see what his plan was, and if he was just hoping that caution would come out and put him in a prime position to win the race.
I'm gonna run through the running order here, if I can find the button. Unofficial results: Anthony Burrows, after leading 80 laps of this 156 lap race, comes away with the win. Thomas Harmon is your 2nd place finisher without getting a lap led. Wade Hustad in the 32 finishes 3rd. Joseph Helt gets the 4th spot. Spencer Tart coming up to grab 5th. 6th goes to Eli Hinton. 7th position to the number 7 car, Christopher Pope. 8th goes to Mike Springer. 9th to Sean Hughes, your early race leader, with 31 laps led. Hunter Johnson's going to finish 10th. And then you have Jim Westerfield, the number 4 car, comes away with 11th. John Theodore, leading very, very early in the race. He finishes in the 12th spot, last car on the lead lap. Tommy Bordeaux comes away 13th. 14th to Chad Presnall. 15th, Kevin Varnador. 16th, Chris James in the 82. 17th, Chris Lucky. 18th to Taylor Butcher Benjamin. 19th, Josh Patterson. 20th goes to Alexander Russell. And last 3 guys here, John Mullins in that 64 machine finishes 21st, 22nd to Richard Lucky, and 23rd, Dustin Musial. Was able to get back out there. He only finished 25 laps down, so no car is absolutely dead, but Dustin Musial taking the brunt of that very early caution that we were unfortunately unable to catch here after having technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. And now we're going to go down to the track and try to catch a couple interviews with some guys. The first one I want to chat with there is Chad Presnall. I'm going to grab him quickly and see what the thoughts were in his mind as he stayed out on those extremely old tires and forcing Anthony Burrows to just come around and take the win. Chad Presnall, you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, it's Ryan up in the booth, buddy. Just wanted to chat with you briefly. You stayed out for a long, long time on very old tires. What was the strategy there? Just waiting for a caution?
Had nothing to lose, man. I had a lot of damage. Probably my best shot again.
You're breaking up on me just a little bit. Can't hear every word you're saying, but the unfortunate, you seem like you had a real fast car here tonight. Did you, on your screen, obviously on the broadcast, all we see is that you maybe jerked the wheel a little too hard to the left when the 13 went to take his corner and spun yourself out. Did you contact him on your screen, or?
I'm going to have to wait till the interview's over, and I'm going to go back and look at the replay. What it looked like, my perspective, what I recall, was that he come down. I mean, obviously I had the momentum, but it's hard to say until I go back.
Yeah, he was definitely slower than you. I just don't know if he knew how much slower he was after the previous contact that he had. So,
yeah, that good old saying, "Patience is a virtue." I knew I should just back the corner up and got him off too. Got greedy, ruined the race.
Yeah, unfortunate the way it worked out. Tried to make the caution strategy work for you. I won't even call it pit strategy because it wasn't. It was caution strategy, just begging for that yellow to come out. But either way, come home 14th. I guess it could have been worse. You could have came in 23rd. So hopefully you get some...
considering I haven't practiced this car all week, I got 4 hours of sleep and drove all the way back from Phoenix today. So I consider it a victory, even at 14th. I'd have liked to get a win, but we'll take it.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you didn't drive the track on iRacing, but you got to go down and experience it in real life. So that's what it's all about, man. Go out there and get some practice this week, and we'll see you back next week, all right?
Yeah, 10-4, bud. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, Chad. Have a good one. And that was Chad Presnall on the number 55 machine, your 14th place finisher for tonight. Now we will grab Christopher Pope and get a little better view of the car here. There he is. That beautiful DPR 7 machine of Chris Pope was making some moves there at the end. Let's go find him. Here he is. Chris Pope, you got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, making some moves there at the end. Can I ask, firstly, I'll touch base with you in a second about the 44 there at the very end of the race, but after making moves all the way up to the back of the O2 of Joseph Helt before that last pit stop, why did you wait so long and stay out as long as you did?
Because they're in the races this week. Honestly, every time I went in and made that move to green flag pit to race it out to the end, it bit me in the rear, and the caution would always come out right before I would get on the lead lap, and I end up going a lap down, and it would completely mess up my whole race. And honestly, I was hoping that it would get hotter, and I figured that people would start getting antsy with it becoming go time. And everybody just kept they drove pretty well. I mean, just DRL, just showing how it's done. 2 cautions at Phoenix, of all places. They really killed it, and I made the wrong call.
Yeah, definitely not what we expected here, versus last weekend at Vegas. Thought we'd have a great race there filled with cautions, and then this week you guys come out and only put 2 on
completely
the
opposite. Like, you'd figure we'd have all the cautions here, and at Vegas it'd go somewhat clean, and then, it's just a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Well, you had an impressive bit of driving there for the last, I would say, even 60 laps of racing. You worked your way through the field once, and then you had to do it a second time after staying out like you did. But what do you any choice words there for the 44 at the end of the race and how he was racing you, being 3 laps down? Or
I tried to stay on my best behavior. There's going to be quite a few things said in the boxing ring. I was attempting to. I was like 1.5 and then 1.3 catching up to Eli, I believe it was, in front of me. And apparently my lap times were about 0.3 to 0.4 faster. But the 44 kept, as soon as he got onto the outside, and he just kept holding me up. And at the end I was like, okay, well, is this really necessary? What are you doing here? He was like, oh, you're not going to catch him. I was like, okay.
Well, definitely not with a car between me and the wall, so you don't have.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing I could do at that point, and unless I was just going to wreck him, and that's just not going to happen.
Not the way to do it when you're running 7th, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Loss of 1 position instead of the loss of 10, but
anyway, no reason to get into it with a 2 lap down car by any means. So it's not worth it.
Great set of racing from you tonight, man. We hope to see you back next week. I know you go out there and you get the practice, and it's good to chat with somebody from DPR for once, not this Burroughs.
It's been a while.
Burroughs and Hustad show that it is as of the last, I can't even tell you, 15 Cup races.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have a new winner tonight, actually.
Oh yeah, Sean Hughes was out there running strong, and Chad Presnall was running really well, and had a lot of guys show up and race tonight. So
yeah, it was a good time. Have you guys talked about next week's package?
We have not.
Oh man,
Did you already try it out?
Yeah, quite a few bit of testing.
That's gonna be
tune in next week. It's going to be insane. it's going to be a show. I don't know if you're going to enjoy it.
That's right. The new package is for anything over 1.5 miles. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So it didn't. Basically, you guys weren't affected much here tonight, or
no? Tonight it was 750. Yeah, this is what I hope they end up moving to. A year down the road, but nah, the short tracks are where it's at right now.
Gotcha.
The 1.5 miles basically turned into you have to work with a teammate. Honestly, you have to draft.
Oh, so there's going to be crazy drafting at Auto Club, which we haven't really seen before.
Yes,
so I know Auto Club is a big a tire issue there because the corners are fairly tight for how fast these cars are going. But
yeah, there's going to be a lot of 2-foot braking. The car will get very loose. If you've ever watched the races and heard Dale Jr. say, if you get back on the back left corner or back right corner and it lifts to the tail end, that now happens, and you will just completely spin out of nowhere. It'll completely lose all traction. So it's going to be interesting with a bunch of people in the pack.
I got it pulled up on the screen here. You heard it, guys, right from the 7 here at Pope. Tune in next Monday night. That'll be the Auto Club 200. That should be interesting.
It's going to be a show.
Thanks for coming to interview with us, Chris. Have a wonderful night, man. Congrats on 7th place.
All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next week. Well, that was Chris Pope in that number 7 car. And now we're going to go up and grab Wade Hustad finishes in the 3rd spot in the number 3 machine, but he does not have a microphone currently, so I'm going to grab... There he is, the Avril Lavigne car, the number 68 here of Thomas Harmon, parked next to his fellow S2R buddies. Well, one of them, the 28 there, Spencer Tart, who comes away with the 5th place finish. Let's see here. Thomas Harmon, where are you? There he is. Thomas Harmon, you got a copy?
10-4, I got you.
Hey, man, a bit of a long-winded interview there with Chris Pope, but you come away with 2nd place finish, man. How's it feel?
Pretty good, actually, and good to see all the teammates up front, and Anthony is an affiliate in there, too. Top 5 all around.
Yeah, great racing by all of you guys tonight. Unfortunate, a couple very quick drivers getting taken out like they did, but put the Avril car down there. You got her in 2nd position. Unable to really gain on the 62, but it looked like you had more than enough for everybody else on the track tonight. What was I mean? Was this race any different, you feel, than last year? Because last year I feel like we had way more cautions than we did this year at Phoenix. So
I didn't get sent packing into 3, so yeah, it feels a lot different than last year. But yeah, I was disappointed to see the cloud cover come out when it did, because I felt like I was a little bit better than Anthony on the long run when the sun was out, but once the clouds come out, I just had nothing for him, and from there I just kind of went on cruise control.
Well, I know mid last year we were kind of surprised by how well you were finishing in every race, and kind of, you know, I still remember this day doing the interview with you saying, well, what have you changed? What are you doing? You said, I haven't really changed a whole lot. You racing a little more nowadays with these S2R guys?
Not really. I did upgrade the pedals though. Last time we were here, middle of the race, I had to change my brake pedal to my clutch, and that made it interesting to say the least. But I got the new pedals, and they are much better, and it looks like it shows to me.
Yeah, you got the, what is it, the VR or the Club Sports 3? What are they called?
The Club Sport V3s.
Yeah, the V3s. Yeah. I've heard those are excellent pedals. You get the upside down ones, or the inverted, whatever they call them?
No, I didn't do those. I just went with the regular.
Cool. Well, congrats on the 2nd place finish, man. I'm glad the new pedals are helping you out. You had a chance to race Auto Club yet? Because from what we just heard from Christopher Pope, it's going to be a fun one next week.
No, I haven't raced it myself. I've watched a couple, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be fun. Difficult, but fun.
Well, best of luck, man. Go out and get some practice. Let's hear any shout-outs you got for tonight.
First and foremost, the S2R teammates, Ryan and all, Spencer, Wade, all those guys, come out and put on a great race tonight. We were patient with each other, and it paid off in the end. DRL and the admins for all that you guys do and allowing us to come out here and put on a great show for everybody. Avril for being on the car, Father Dimitri, and all my fans that were out there watching tonight. I knew there was a few. I don't know how vocal they were, though.
Oh, it's all good. They would have spoke up if they saw something real exciting, like, you know, maybe a victory or something.
I'll see what I can do next week.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week at Auto Club. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
That was Thomas Harmon in the number 68, 2nd place finisher for this evening. Trying to get him back down into his proper channel. And now we're going to grab Anthony Burrows for the 2nd week in a row. Comes away victorious. Martin, what are we going to have another show this year? Anthony Burrows just getting victory after victory?
Well, he's got 2 straight now. He won last week at Las Vegas. He's here winning at Phoenix. He had a shot at winning at Atlanta.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, he kind of ruined that for himself and Mr. Theodore.
Yep.
But, you know, he just
That's
has a propensity to finish and lurk. You know, we talked about it earlier. He lurks in that top 5, and then end of the race, he's always there. So let's go down and grab the 62. Anthony Burrows, do you have a copy, sir?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm getting tired of interviewing you, man. That's 2 weeks in a row, almost 3 weeks in a row, if not for the mistake there at Atlanta. Congrats on another 1st place finish tonight, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was interesting. I was really looking forward to how this race went. considering we have the new package going on in this. Yeah, it was really tough to pass, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I mean, it produced some decent racing, but yeah, all around pretty clean race. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Well, you didn't make it look like decent racing towards the end, putting a 4 or 5 second gap on second place. Your teammate there, or not your teammate, but your buddy Thomas Harmon in that 68 car. I don't know, man. You didn't come away, or did you? I don't think you came away with the pole position. You quickly got shuffled after that first caution flag back to 5th or 6th, and you just have a propensity to lurk in the distance in 4th, 5th, and kind of just ride things out. Were you saving tires on the early run in the race?
Not really. It was just, I think a lot of it was dirty air, and I kind of got stuck behind Eli, who had 2 tires, but he did a really good job hanging around the outside, so he was pretty tough to get. Yeah, once I got by him, I felt like my tires were pretty good, and I made a run for it. And unfortunately, Presnell and Sean Hughes got in a wreck around, I think, lap 50. Yeah, they both had a ton of speed. They would have been right up there at the end too.
Yeah, you guys were definitely a tight pack before all that happened. Hughes seeming to be the class of the field up until that point. So either way, stuff happens in racing. It is what it is. You come away with the first place finish, and you're heading into Auto Club next week. How are you feeling about that track?
I'd say that's one of my better tracks, but with the new package, I don't really know. I think we'll have a lot tighter racing this time around. The tire wear still seems pretty bad, so I think it'll get spread out pretty quick. But yeah, first couple laps, it's gonna be pretty tight. I think it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, from what we've heard from the last couple interviewees, it's a whole different track this year from what it was last year with this new package. So go out there and get some practice, man, and see you back next week at Auto Club. You got any shout outs for anybody tonight?
Yeah, definitely shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast as always. Everyone at S2R, everyone I was talking to, they all race clean. Everyone in the race raced pretty clean. Yeah.
All right, Anthony. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week, man.
Thanks, you too.
And that's your first place finisher, Anthony Burrows, for the second week in a row. Comes home with the victory. Next week, I did pull it up while Christopher Pope was talking about it, but next race of this series will be at Auto Club. Martin, is that supposed to be the AAA 200, or is it just... I don't know, he's got 3 A's there on the graphic, but...
Auto Club 200, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a... I don't know, what's the AAA with the bell thing? Is that like an Auto Club logo?
Yeah, that's the Auto Club. AAA
Gotcha.
Auto Club or something, probably. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that'll be at the Auto Club
That's
Speedway, Fontana, California. Right back here next
Yep.
week. Hopefully we don't have any technical issues at the beginning of the race. It's a 2-mile track. We'll run 100 laps there. So, and then next race on DRL TV is going to be right back here at Phoenix, ISM Raceway, tomorrow night. That'll be 125 laps around ISM in those B cars. So we'll have the Grand National Series running here tomorrow night. Martin will be a participant in that. And then I do want to run through the credits here, thanking everybody involved with the Dynasty. Oh, excuse me, the Dynasty Racing League. James Pandoff, the owner, Martin, yourself, and Jordan Gonzalez for the graphics that are done on a weekly basis. Especially Martin getting that done with the extra banners and stuff this week in just that 1 week time period. I know you had to go back and forth with some of the guys over there at the iRacing headquarters to try to get that all sorted out. So big shout out to you guys. David Wellborn Jr., Getty Buckner, Derek Pemberton, Eric Weatherholtz, David Lindahl, all the guys that tune in every week and help with this broadcast and make DRL TV what it is. Give the viewers something at home to watch. And then, of course, the guys that come out in race control, they've gotten some heat lately. You know, it's really hard to judge a race in the split moment of things, and there's no way you'll ever keep everybody happy. So big shout out to Robbie Armstrong, Dakota Wilkins, Ryan Hesgard, Martin, Getty, James, Jeremy Hebel, Richard Springer, Eric Weatherholtz, all the guys that help out with race control. Huge shout out to them. Not an easy job. Anybody who thinks it is, I challenge you to try it for a week, because there's a reason I don't do it. I can tell you, I can tell you that right now. So, and then a big shout out to the viewers. Thank you guys, everybody, especially if you made it this far into the broadcast and you're still sitting here willing to listen to these credits and listen to all the guys that make the DRL go around. Thank you for tuning in and watching your favorite drivers. And last but not least, the drivers of the league. You know, it wouldn't be the Dynasty Racing League without all the excellent driving that we have out here every week. So thank you to anybody who's watching at this point, and we will be back next week. Martin, anything else for the viewers before we sign out?
Hope see you tomorrow.
See you guys. Have a wonderful night.